Hi, welcome to this video. So originally I had wanted to make like a whole video just of my recommendations for anime that are on Netflix, because a lot of people ask me like, I want to start watching anime but I only have Netflix, what can I watch on there, what's good, etc. But I figured I'd do this instead, where you can see everything that I've watched that is on Netflix, and I'll kind of just go over my thoughts and if I recommend it or not. Because like I haven't seen everything on Netflix, and I know there's really good shows, so I don't think it would be fair for me to make a list saying like the best anime on Netflix. But in my opinion, out of the ones that I have seen, you'll see what I think is the best. So I'm gonna go in order of when I've watched it or like rewatched it. So like the freshest in my mind are gonna go first. And then when we get towards the end, I might have forgotten some things about these shows, because I've been watching anime since 2013. So yeah, some of these I watched a long time ago if I haven't rewatched them. So I made this list and I'll link in the description. I mean, this is kind of really tailored to what I've seen exactly, but if you want to do it for some reason, it's there. And then I didn't make any fancy tier names this time. It's just the standard A through D and then S. So first we're gonna start with Beastars. So this is something I actually really recently watched, and I was really skeptical at first because of the whole concept of like animals with human traits, and I kind of ate my words a little bit because it was actually pretty good. It's basically about like the dynamics of the animal kingdom but in a high school setting, and yeah, the plot is really unique and it's pretty well executed. And so I think I'll put it in, I gave it an 8 out of 10 on my anime list, so I don't know, that's like a B minus, right? So I'll put it in B on the American grading scale. Okay, so next, this is something I watched recently as well, Maid-sama, because I was in the mood for some shoujo, and I don't know, I think this show was okay. It's not the best shoujo I've ever seen, coming from a non-shoujo fan standpoint. In my opinion, the show didn't really age well. Like, some of the jokes would not fly today, and like some parts were just cringe, so I'm gonna put it in C. It was average. Would I watch it again? No. Was it terrible? No. Okay, and then next, something I also recently watched was March Comes In Like a Lion, and I believe Netflix has both seasons on, if not only one. But this show was just really relatable and also heartwarming, but also sad. So if you're in the mood for something depressing but also uplifting, I would recommend this. And yeah, it's about shogi, the game, but also more about like the main character's struggle with depression. If you've seen the Netflix show recently, The Queen's Gambit, and you liked it, I would recommend this anime. It's not super similar, but the themes are similar and they coincide. So I found this to be really good. Not the best thing I've ever seen, but pretty good, so I'll put it in A. Next we got Haikyuu. So Netflix only has the first season, I believe, and I'm currently watching season 4. So Haikyuu is the only sports anime they have on Netflix, and it is often one that many people have seen, or like just because it's the most accessible one. So the fandom is huge, it has a lot of hype, but no way, shape, or form is it the best sports series in my opinion. Even though my channel is named after a character from that show, it's really good. I like the manga better. If you are interested in the sports anime genre, it is a good starter. So plus you'll have a lot of people in the fandom you can talk to, and there's lots of great art and fan works. So I'm gonna put it in, I don't know if I should put it in A because of like the cultural impact, or B because of just like objectively as a sports anime it's not the best. But if we're going by what's on Netflix, it being the only sports anime, I will put it in A. Okay, next, Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun. This I recently rewatched, and it's just cute. It's wholesome. It's not necessarily shoujo, like, it's more of comedy, and the premise is pretty interesting. It's about a guy who is a shoujo manga artist, and basically this girl who has a crush on him, and he's really oblivious to her. So it's just like funny antics, a little bit of romance. I'll put it in B. It's pretty funny. It's a lighthearted watch, but nothing like outstanding. Next we got Hunter x Hunter, which I've rewatched like 10 times. I kid you not. It's one of my favorite series, and Netflix only has up to it finishes the Greed Island arc, so about half the series. So if you want to finish it, you're gonna have to like outsource. But I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Hunter x Hunter is, but I'm gonna put it in S tier because it's a great story. It's about this guy named Gon and his quest to find his father. The main goal is to find his dad, but the adventures along the way are what are more important kind of thing. So it has a little fantasy, a little drama, comedy, everything you would want in a show. It's just amazing. Please watch it if you haven't. Okay, next we got Durarara, which is I'm currently rewatching for like the 5th time. I rewatch a lot of shows that I really like, keep in mind, but Durarara is my all-time favorite anime. So I'm biased, but I'm gonna put it in S tier. Netflix only has season 1, I believe, but it's still amazing. Please watch it. It's about a part of Tokyo called Ikebukuro, and it has a little fantasy, a little romance, a little psychological drama elements, like anything you would want in kind of a darker series, and it's just amazing. I really love it. The characters, the music, everything. I could rant about this series for like an hour, so I'm gonna stop. Okay, next we have A Silent Voice, which is a movie, and the movie is not as good as the manga, but it is still exceptionally good, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. It is about a deaf girl and her childhood bully, and how he has grown as a person and kind of regrets his actions now and trying to rekindle their relationship. So it's not necessarily romance, but it's more a coming-of-age friendship type story, but also very sad. But also uplifting, so it's like kind of like March Comes In Like a Lion, so that's why I would put it in A. Next we got Host Club, Ouran High School Host Club. A classic. I've rewatched it so many times. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'll just put on an episode, a specific episode that I really like, and I wouldn't call it the best. Like, objectively, it's not the best thing ever, but I'm pretty sure everyone who has seen it has at least enjoyed it a little bit, and it's just a classic shoujo ? Series. There's not exactly a whole ton of romance. It's just comedy, it's fun, good cast of characters. So let me see, maybe I can't decide between A or B. I'll give it like a B plus and round up since I'm nice, so I'll put it in A. Okay, next we got Devilman Crybaby, which is something I watched when I wasn't really watching anime for a while because it was on Netflix and it looked really interesting, and I would give it, let me see, Devilman Crybaby is an adaptation of the classic Devilman, and it is about a guy who basically turns into a devil and like his antics. It's really pretty graphic, pretty gory, so if you're into that kind of thing, I would suggest it. I think I would put it in B. It's pretty good. I typically do not go towards more of like a, I wouldn't call it horror, but it is pretty graphic, and I don't typically watch shows like that very often, so it's short series if you want something short, something action-packed. I recommended it to people who don't even like anime, and they ended up liking it, so. Okay, next we got Code Geass. I believe the full series is on Netflix, which is surprising, but Code Geass S tier is one of my favorite shows. If you haven't seen it, it is, I would akin it to Death Note as one of like the best drama, psychological, mystery type shows, and it's just awesome. Like, it's about a guy who gets this power called the Geass, where he can basically control people. It also has elements of like war between countries and like politics and stuff like that. So there's princes, kings, he's like the estranged son, something, whatever that's called. So if you like that kind of thing, I would recommend this. Next we got Food Wars. I believe the first 2 seasons are on Netflix, and I've only watched the first season, and it's really unique. Keep in mind, it's a little bit, I don't know how to call it, suggestive, like, little, it's not hentai, but like, what is, like, not ecchi either, but it's like very suggestive. Like, some of the scenes when they're eating the food, they're like, it's pretty interesting, that's all to say the least. So, but the story is pretty interesting. It's about a guy who goes to a culinary school, and basically I believe he, like, his dad is a famous chef, and he wants to live up to the expectation or something like that. And he comes from the middle of nowhere, and everyone else is from this elite school or something. And it's really interesting. I actually remember enjoying it a lot. But since I didn't like it enough to watch the rest of the seasons, I guess I'll just put it in B. Like, it was pretty good. It was a fun watch, but I wasn't super invested in the show. Okay, next we got Your Lie in April, a classic sad shoujo series. I don't know, when I did watch it at first, I really enjoyed it because of the whole classical music aspect. It's about a guy who is a classical pianist and a girl who plays violin, and like their kind of love story, but the girl is terminally ill, so if you can imagine the sadness that comes with that, that's what happens. Like I said, I really enjoyed it when I first watched it, but now that I'm looking back on it, I really only liked the classical music aspect, and the characters were bland in my opinion other than that. So, but the animation is really amazing, and I know it's like kind of a keystone series, so I don't know if I should put it in B or C. I liked it way more than Maid Sama, so I'm gonna put it in B. Next we got another sad series, Anohana. I think The Flower We Saw That Day, I think is the English translation, but another sad series about a girl who passed away, and basically her ghost comes back to not haunt this guy, but basically bring their friend group back together because they kind of disbanded once the girl died because she was all their friend. And it's basically just about overcoming grief and like connecting with people you've lost contact with. And it's a really touching series. It's not the best thing ever, but it will make you cry if you have a heart. So I'll put it with Your Lie in April in B tier. Okay, now we're coming up onto series that I haven't watched in a while, so I might not remember everything about them, but the first one we got is No Game No Life. And I remember I watched this because the animation was gorgeous. Like, it is a stunning series, but I think it was a little incesty. It's about two siblings. I think they're like trapped in video game type situation, isekai. I think that's what it's called. And they were a little too handsy for siblings in my opinion, so I'm gonna put it in C. Like, the animation is gorgeous, and if you like that kind of trapped in a video game type thing, then you might like it. Next we got, I think the English title is Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions. And this one is by Kyoto Animation, so the animation is gorgeous again. And if I remember, I like the story okay. It's about a girl who kind of has like this delusion that I think it's like not a disease, but like the mindset that they'll never grow up, and she's kind of she thinks she's like from space or something like that. And it's a like lighthearted slice of life romance, but also with little drama elements. And I remember liking it okay. I think there's 2 seasons of this, and maybe the first season is on Netflix. So I'll put it in B. I remember really liking the main character, the main male lead character. Okay, next we got Devil is a Part-Timer. And this show was just a short little comedy series about basically the devil who like lands on Earth and he ends up working at like a McDonald's. And the premises sounds really dumb, but it's actually pretty funny. And like, I think he's trying to get back to the underworld. Yeah, it's just funny, lighthearted comedy. I'll put it in B. It wasn't the best thing ever, but it was pretty funny and a cute watch. Next we got Toradora. Toradora, this is also another classic shoujo series. And this one, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of shoujo, but I remember really liking this one. It's about a girl who's kind of tsundere and this guy who's kind of ugly, kind of looking scary. No one really likes him. He's kind of a loner. And at first they don't like each other. I think she's in love with like his best friend, so he helps her kind of get together with him, and then in the process they fall in love. And it's pretty cute. She's pretty badass, and I remember really liking their relationship. So I think I'll put it in A. I'll give some shoujo a little love up here. Okay, next we got Death Note. Death Note is a classic series. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's about a guy who finds this thing called the Death Note, where basically if you write someone's name in it, they die, and he gets it and decides to kill all the criminals to rid of the bad people in the world, and he kind of goes crazy. This one, the first half is really good, and if you've seen it, you know what happens in the second half. It kind of goes downhill from there, so I'm gonna put it in A. Strong start, finish, but like a classic series that you should watch if you want to get into anime regardless. Next we got Attack on Titan. I'm not sure how many seasons are on Netflix, probably 1 or 2, and I've only seen the first season of Attack on Titan because all my friends were reading the manga and they kind of spoiled me for what happens, which is not their fault, and I kind of just lost interest after that. But the first season is amazing. I'm sure everyone has seen it by now. It's about a world, like a dystopian type of world where these things called Titans exist. They basically eat people, and the people are trying to fight back and defeat them and find the mystery of the Titan and blah, 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 blah. Something like that, if my memory serves me correctly. But it's a classic series. Just from the first season, though, that I've seen, I'll put it in A. I'm sure the story gets better and it keeps going. But you never know with these big series. Sometimes they start out strong and then end bad because they just rely on hype to get them through. And like I said, I'm not knowledgeable on like the manga ending or anything like that. So for now, I'll put it in A. Okay, next we got Clannad. Clannad, this is another classic shoujo series. And I don't think they have Clannad After Story on Netflix. They only have the first season. And from that, I'll put it in D tier. This, everyone tells you to watch it. You'll cry. They say you'll cry your eyes out, blah, blah, blah. And that applies to the Clannad After Story, which is the second season. But just because a show is sad doesn't make it good. So even the second season I would put in here. Like, I was bawling at the end of that show, but like that's about it. That's all. Like, I don't know how I got connected to these characters when they're so, it's like kind of like a harem show, but then the main guy finally ends up with someone, and then the after stories about their life in the future. But like, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this kind of show, and the animation is old and kind of creepy. They got the big eyes and stuff, but yeah, I believe it's based off a like dating sim game, so it has that kind of vibe. Next we got Toradora Online. I don't know how many seasons are on Netflix, but I've only seen the first season, and I know this gets a lot of hate for being terrible, but from the first season alone, I honestly don't think it was that bad. Like, it was the first, I'm not gonna say the first like isekai type getting into a video game, but it's definitely one of the most popular, and I'll put it in C tier. It wasn't the worst thing ever by far that I've seen. And I mean, like I said, I've only seen the first season, and I think it gets worse from then on, but first season is okay. Next we got Black Butler. This was one of the first series I ever watched because one of my close friends really liked it, and the art and like the world building is really cool. It's kind of a Victorian type setting, and this kid CL makes a contract with a demon, and basically they're bound, and it's pretty dark, a little gory at times, but also has comedy elements. And I heard the manga is really good for this one. I've seen the whole series and the movies, and the second season is not canon because I believe they were making it while the manga was still ongoing and didn't have like the source material, so they just made up their own story. But then season 3 gets back into the original material. I'm not sure how many seasons are on Netflix, but from the first season alone, I would give it a B. It was pretty good. Above average, but not the best thing ever again, but like I said, I've heard the manga is much better. Okay, next we got Soul Eater, a classic series, one of the first series I ever watched, and I'm sure everyone has seen it by now. If you haven't, it's good. It's about a person paired up with a person who can turn into a weapon, and yeah, they're a duo, and they just basically fight evil and stuff like that. The characters are really cool. I like the cast, I like the art style, and this author is also doing the current series Fire Force, so if you like Fire Force, you might like Soul Eater. I don't know, I haven't seen Fire Force, but if they're from the same author, the style might be the same. But Soul Eater is classic, love it. I'm gonna put it in an A. The series is about 50 episodes, I believe, and it does not get through the whole manga, so if I remember correctly, there is a concrete ending to the anime, but the story continues on from there, so if they ever make a season 2, I would be down to watch that. And last but not least, we got Naruto. I've seen the original series, the first, 200 episodes. I have not seen Shippuden, but from the original Naruto, it's pretty good. I would give it an A. It's a classic series. I'm pretty sure, even if you haven't seen it, you know what Naruto is. And the first season is pretty cool. It's when he's younger, learning about the powers and stuff like that. A little cringy at times, but like I said, it's a classic series. It's like Pokemon. Like, most people have seen it when they were younger, and I watched it when I was in high school. One of my friends really liked it. I haven't seen the other big shonen anime like One Piece or Fairy Tail or Bleach, so I decided I'd give Naruto a chance, and it's pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to watch the whole Shippuden series, which I don't even know how long that is, and then there's Boruto now, so it's just a lot. If you want to start it now, just keep in mind it's gonna be a lot. So yeah, this is everything I've watched that's on Netflix currently in the USA. Maybe I should have mentioned that before. This is a USA Netflix. I don't know if we don't have that much compared to other countries, but this is what we got that I've seen. And yeah, like if I were to make a recommendations list like I had planned to originally, I would obviously put these S tier ones, Hunter x Hunter, Durarara, Code Geass, and then I would probably include this A tier as well. Like, if you want a good starter sports anime, Haikyuu. If you just want a movie that's pretty sad, pretty touching, good animation, good story, a silent voice. Some starter shoujos, Host Club, Toradora. Some classic series over here, Death Note, Attack on Titan, Soul Eater, Naruto. Kind of something newer that's a little heartwarming as well, Much Concerned Like a Lion. And then B tier, this is also, maybe if you've watched all these and you want something a little different, go in here. Beastars is the newest one on this list, and I know it's getting a season 2 soon, so maybe if you want to be on the hype, watch that. Cute little shoujo series. Devilman is a darker series. But yeah, I would not recommend these series right here. So I wouldn't have put them on my list anyway, and I probably wouldn't have put half of these on my list, but yeah. And I know, of course, Netflix has like Full Metal Alchemist, stuff like that, which I have not watched, and I know that's like a sin in the anime community. I think I tried watching the first couple episodes and I didn't have time to get into it fully, so I will eventually. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Y'all seem to like my sports anime protagonist one, so comment down below if you want me to do anything else like that. I don't know if y'all would want to see like a ranking sports, just anime instead of protagonists. I don't know why I started with protagonists, but I don't know. I don't want to rag on a whole show if someone really likes it. Like, I feel kind of bad if Clannad is your favorite show, that I put it in D, but that's just my opinion and I just don't want to offend anyone. So I don't know if I will be making more of these in the future, but if y'all like them and want me to keep doing them, then I'll do that. Thank you for watching, and bye!